Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Her Talk Show. My name is Sabrina Victoria, and I am here with Veronique, and we are talking all about, we're talking all about time and how it's now is the time to come alive. I'm super excited about this subject. Get comfortable as we explore the triumphs and challenges faced by women worldwide, offering insights and inspiration to fuel your personal and professional growth. Let's jump right in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
Listening live, welcome. If you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love. We are here every day and we delve into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We have interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. We have Veronique, who is a.k.a. V. Girl, that just sounds powerful. V. She is a sought after, inspirational, vision driven, there's your V, leader and speaker, certified transformational life mastery consultant, value creator strategist and coach, brave thinker and brand builder on a mission to help you own who you are in the world. She believes that each of us is unique, and it's not just by nature, it's by design. The quality of your life depends on your ability to live your life. Girl, I love this. Okay, wait, let me read this again. She believes that each of us is unique, and it's not just by nature, it's by design. That just sound, explain this to me.
Yeah. So first off, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be with you. It's very exciting what you're, gathering all this amazing women together, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it. So thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, this is, this is part of all the things we know, and we don't really understand the significance of it. We're born unique. Everybody knows we have a DNA. It's our unique life code. And yet we keep going through life trying to fit in, trying to, embrace other people's projects, believe that what the boss says is more important than what we think. And we dilute our own identity. We forget who we are. So what I'm saying is, it's not just, you were given a life code. It's for you to embrace it. There's a design into this life code. And so life is meant to work through you in a unique way if you allow it. But what's happening is we go through life and we go to the teller of life and we keep putting somebody else's code in. I was like, oh, my boss, my husband, no. The deal is I'm unique. I'm designed to be unique. And the biggest acknowledgement for the gift that we have of this precious life is for us to find it. What is it that I'm designed for? What is it that I'm here for? To be and do, and then go do it.
I love this word dilute that you're using. What a great visual to the purity of who we are, and then other people's just liquids, just waters and Kool-Aids and sodas and seltzer just being poured in, their ideas, their culture, their ideals. And then, it dilutes your purity.
It dilutes your purity. And what happens is, it's interesting that you're using the water thing, because I often talk about, this hose that we use to water plants and everything. It's like having kinks in the hose. We are not allowing life to flow freely through our own system. We're blocking lives. And we're blocking it, meaning that we're not expressing who we are here to be. But in my case, I got sick. I got sick not living my life.
Wow.
That's my own personal story of actually challenge and luckily transformation. But at some point, I let somebody else's design take over my design. And so that's super important too. It's not just a question of purpose. Yes, purpose, having meaning to our life is what causes us to like create this transformation in the world that only us can create. But that's our first level of responsibility. It's for ourselves. So we are alive. So we are vibrant. So we have this vitality. So we embrace this life for ourselves first. And it's because we embrace this life for ourselves first that we can give, that we can create and do the thing that nobody else can do.
Wow.
So that's the invitation,
Yeah.
Now is your time.
So first of all, what were some of the hints that your body or your world were giving you to get you to pause and realize something was going on? What happened?
All the signals were blinking red. Boom, 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 like everything was off in my life. I was coming out of a very difficult marriage through 10 years of divorce. I was on my knees. I felt like, a 10,000 piece puzzle had been thrown on the floor. Like, I didn't know what happened to me on the other side of this. So personally, I've always been a person of a vision. Like when I saw something, I could make it happen. And it allowed me to do like amazing things in my life. But at this point, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see anything that was bringing me life, like anything exciting. I didn't see my next opportunity, my next chapter, the business interactions, the business that I was in. I didn't like it. I felt like I was not creating the impact I knew I could create. It was not satisfying. And then eventually, plainly and simply, I got sick. And I got sick because all this unsatisfied life, all this blocked life, all these possibilities that I was denying myself to live, that caused me to shut down.
Wow.
And for someone like me who's always been very much in the action, super driven, climbing mountains all the time, getting people to climb mountains with me, it was unbearable.
Wow.
It was like being a lioness in a cage, but now the cage was open, but I didn't know where to go, how to direct this energy. So I got so sick. I've got to tell you, I'm not going to get into the details, the diagnosis. That's not the point, but I could not operate. I could not hold a pencil.
Wow.
I could not even move my body. I had to take naps every like 3 hours. It didn't feel good.
Wow. Were you like so scared?
I was, I've always been scared because of this, who I am, the nature of who I am. I've always taken steps not knowing, what was coming and embracing it. But this time, this was a different type of scare. That was fear. Like, I didn't know it was the end. I felt certainly in a dead end. I wrote my will. I prepared my kid. I was on my way out. I mean, a large part of me in my mind right at that time was on the way out.
Wow. And then what happened? You picked up a book, heard a podcast, went to church, a friend told you. How did you begin to step out of it?
Well, there was a moment, there's always a moment when you snap out. And for me, it was almost, that was a spiritual moment, really. It was just a day, actually the night just before a very big presentation that I had to give. And it was an innovation that I had to present. There's a lot at stake. and I'm passionate about it. And for a long time, very, very long time, I had not been passionate about a project like that. It mattered to me a lot. And it's 3:00 in the morning and I can't sleep.
Mm.
And I toss and I turn and at some point just like got up at bed. And I don't know why, but I went straight on my knees. And I'm not religious. I'm not used to do that. But in the middle of the night, it's pitch dark in my room. I go down on my knees. And it was a moment of surrounding. Like I was like surrounding my weapons, all the weapons down. Veronique is on her knees. And I closed my eyes and I heard, "Where have you been for all these years, Veronique? You have not lived a life worthy of you in a very long time."
Mm.
And this is when I started crying because it was true. It was the right question. It was the question that was waking me up. Where have you been for all these years? You have not created a life worthy of you in a very long time. And it still gives me the huge emotion, because I was there on my knees at that point. And, I just opened my eyes and there was a beautiful encounter with a ray of light.
Wow.
I saw a ray of light in this pitch dark room, cracked through the window, and it felt like a connection. It was like connecting with me. I'm connected with her. And it gave me a jolt of energy.
Wow.
Because at that point I had no energy, I had no vitality, and gave me a jolt of energy. And what it did is like give me the energy of wanting to start something new again. And I accepted that, yes, I don't know what it is right now. I have no clue, but I'm willing to give it another shot and another shot at life. And I and embrace what life had for me. That it was not the beginning of the end, but it was the beginning of a new beginning for me. And I started looking for support for the first time in my life. I started looking for a mentor. And at that time, the Tony Robbins and, male figures. And it didn't fit with me anymore because the cold showers, and I ordered my mind to do this. And this is what drove me on my knees. This is what put me down on my knees. This was the warrior in me. And I could not be that person anymore because that person had created that level of results where everything was off. So eventually I found a female mentor, a woman, beautiful. And she took me through a system of transformation that not only changed my life, but I'm saying it now, like saved my life.
Mm.
And little by little, it allowed me to integrate all the pieces of me, like Veronique. Like I never integrated the woman with the businesswoman and, being super sensitive and being so driven, and all the parts of me had never been working together, And so the first thing is aligning that, integrating that, allowing this to happen, gave me my vitality back. And once I had my vitality back, wow, I could dream again. And I started dreaming again. And I started dreaming of a possible future because I couldn't see it at the time. And really what's happening is, when you allow yourself to just reopen new possibilities, it's beautiful what happens for you, because what happens for you is it's a reminder of who you're here to be. Yeah. So it gave me the sense of direction. Oh, now I know what I'm here to be. Because honestly, I had been on this path. I mean, for over 30 years now, I had been a strategist and, creating transformations that create, value in organizations mainly. But since 2005, I had been a coach. I was certified as a coach, but I had added it to my tool belt. I never embraced it because this feeling of separation, like it was two different identities for me.
Wow.
How can the strategist be a coach? Like, this is good, like two different parts. And I used to joke, I have multiple personalities. And so I'm happy to say it's one now. So I have been able to embrace all the parts of me. And now I'm calling myself a value creator, strategist, and coach. And I'm able to help people create value through who they are and through everything in their life. Just like it happened for me, yourself first, yet then what am I here to be? And then we go and we do it. We take action because we're not just dreamers. We're dreamers to build. And we're here to make a difference and create an impact. And so we define that, along the way.
Yeah. When you're saying you had never really thought of connecting everything, I think so many individuals can relate to that. Like I'm thinking of my younger years, 20s, where depending on where I was different, right? Certain groups, I'm different. Church, I'm different. Out, different. The way that I act on Sunday and the way that I act on Saturday, different. And what you're really talking about is stepping into who you really are, connecting all of it. And that is who you are in all the areas. Earlier in the podcast, you had mentioned the word code. You had said, it's almost like you're standing in front of like a door, maybe that's what I pictured at least, and you're putting in someone else's code. What does this mean, this code that you're speaking of?
Yeah, so this code is actually, so, everybody has a DNA, okay? And for me, the way I look at it is we have ingredients in us. We have, gifts in us, talents in us that are very distinctive. It's natural, it's authentic, and it's an asset. So for me, DNA is a distinctive natural asset, and that's the tool that I've been using in the business for years, specifically when I started working with entrepreneurs and innovators, because I wanted to find the gem in them and I wanted them to see it. So this tool is, we're looking at everything in you that is specific, distinctive, authentic, and we create value from it, with it, through it. So this is what I'm talking about with the code. This is the here are the dogs. So this is your prism through which you create the unique value that you're here to create. Once you know who you are, once you know what's specific, unique about me, we make everything an asset. We make everything an asset. Like we flip scripts. Like when I was a child, my father used to make me feel really bad about how sensitive I was. Like, on Saturday night, when everybody's watching a movie, I used to cry. I mean, it's beautiful, I cry. It's horrible, I cry. I mean, what's wrong with you? And I was ashamed of it because I felt like something was wrong with me. And when I look at my life and how being super like sensitive, receptive to feel and see through things so much, this is who I am. This is what I'm bringing to the party. And that's the story of my life. This is, I help corporations, I help individuals discover the gem, the unique gem that they have. And I mean it like from from my heart, as enough of wanting to be the same, enough of wanting to comply, enough of playing small, enough of not loving ourselves for not being the same or looking or fitting in. Done with that. And even I've had the privilege really to working with amazing leaders. They don't see what I see in them. And so this tool is just one of the tools that allows anybody to see. And I've seen the transformation in people's eyes, like, regardless of your position, it's like, wow, this is who I am. This is who I am. Yeah, I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. This is who you are. This is what you're bringing to the world.
Wow.
What are you doing with that? So yeah, being unapologetically unique and doing something with that, because it's not just fine to be unique. It's like I feel like we're at a time when it's important to step up for who we are. We need to contribute from that place.
When you say compromising, complying, I feel like sometimes people don't grasp what that means. Like, how does somebody know? You know, we have a ton of people watching live, by the way. Thanks so much for being here and hanging out with us. But for those listening live, how does somebody know that they are compromising, playing small, playing by other people's rules? Because it's so ingrained in us. It's so almost natural just to obviously be deluded. Like, what's the feeling? What is the thoughts? How do we start to recognize?
Yeah, and I love the question, because this is when we start gaining power over the autopilot, the numb part of us that took over our life, right? Is feeling. The answer is always in the question. So it's in the feeling of it and how you feel. It doesn't feel right. But we're so used to stuff it in, to work with it, to push, to effort, to like, we stop listening to ourselves. I knew a long time ago that everything was off in my life. But you know what? I kept going. I denied that listening to myself, right? And that's what we do. I mean, so to answer your question, pause, feel. If it feels good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, stop. Start asking the question, but it starts with noticing what you're noticing. It's kind of having a level of metacognition of, okay, what is actually really happening here? And it starts with recognizing that things are off. And you know, the thing is, and this is really my story, by the way, I was so headstrong. I was such a warrior. Stop crying, be a warrior, right? And when I moved to New York, I was given that title actually in my first consultancy, is like, to be a warrior, you know? So you're not supposed to listen to all the emotions that you're feeling. It's hard, you keep going. Not going to whine about this, right? So the part of you, honor the part of you that knows, and you know because it doesn't feel right. And then yeah, and then stop. But it's simple, right? It's so simple, and yet it's the hardest thing to do.
I think people forget to check in with themselves.
Absolutely. But because, and I think we're changing that, at least I want to participate in changing that, is being a leader means you don't feel stuff. And that's the opposite. My contribution to the world is say, you know, the more you feel, the more you can contribute. The more you're aware, the more you're awake, the more you can contribute. So do not get numb. So the first thing you do is you're like, pause yourself when you feel like, and then you start breathing again, because life is breath. Start with the breath. And what you're doing with the breath is you're calming your nervous system. Because people don't realize it, but when we are on autopilot, we're on one part of our nervous system, and that's not the part that can think. So we cannot think right when we are in the stress overload, when we're in the fight and flight part of our nervous system. We're disconnected from the power of thinking, the power of creating. So first thing we do, and it's just, again, so simple, tune in, breathe, and you know what helps is to have a vision. because then you can move into the vision and you can feel the vision. And that's the energetic part of how we can transform who we are and get ourselves out of the whirlwind that we are, most of us, living in, right? It's because we have something that we love, that we have here, that we're going to bring out to the world. So connecting with something that you would love, and notice that I'm not saying something I'd like. I would love with my heart. It's not my head talking. Disconnecting the head like really helps a lot. And we have to learn to do that. So we quiet down and we're listening to our intuition. We're listening to what we would love, to our desires. We allow.
It's good.
So we keep opening up. That's how we get ourselves out of this thing. And then we take action, because we're not just dreamers, we're builders. And we take action. We anchor in time and space everything that we're here to be and do, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we transform our own life. And then through that, then we can transform others, or we can inspire others to transform their own.
Yeah. And it's constant. It isn't like you listen to this podcast and then it's a constant reminder, working at.
Oh, it's constant. But the way I look at it is that's always been the way that I've led my life until I forgot. Like for 20 years, I kind of forgot, but which kind of ages me, but I'm so young. It's an experiment. Life is an experiment.
Absolutely.
So why not shoot for something that makes you happy? Why not shoot for something? Because you're going to create a life.
Yeah.
So you're going to create a life of results of stuff you have not chosen. Or are you going to choose to live a life of results that you have chosen? At least you've tried. And I guarantee, if you keep trying, if you see it and you take the steps and you feel the pull, meaning you love that, right? You love that vision. You will have the results that you want.
Absolutely.
Because it's not woo stuff, it's physics. If we have everything is energy. So your dream is here, and right now I'm here. Otherwise I would have my dream, right? So I'm here, my dream is here. Okay. So my job is to raise my level of vibration to match the vibration of my dream.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's not magic, it's physics, but it's a trip. I want to take that trip. I want to be on that journey of becoming. I want to test what I can have. I want to fly.
Yeah, you do. That is like, you do have to level up in order to reach, because it's a dream. So it's out of reach. So you have to level yourself in order to reach it. That's good.
Yeah, it's out of reach up until now.
Yeah.
Up until now. It's never out of reach forever. Because remember, quantum physics tells us that all the possibilities are here. All the possible outcomes and futures are right here. If I can see it, I can have it. But my job is to, as you say, upgrade. I need to upgrade. And how do you upgrade? You upgrade your identity. Because the person who can have the dream is a different person who doesn't have it. So, and this is, and in my own experience of a person who is sick, how I took myself out of it was to have micro visions about me super healthy. And when I could not hold a pencil, I didn't have enough strength and to hold a pencil.
Wow.
I created that micro dream, and I love the macro dream because sometimes dreaming might feel like super lofty and large, and you lose yourself in that. I created this micro dream where I was a pianist, and I could move my fingers with, ease and flow, and I retrained myself through this dream. I lived in that dream. I felt what it felt to be able to play piano again, because I had been able to in my, years before. And so I remember how it felt. So I reconnected with that feeling, which raised my level of vibration, which allowed me to heal, because now I was that person who's healed already.
It's good.
Yeah, it's fascinating. This is what I'm saying. What are we waiting? When I hear like, oh, quantum physics, well, quantum physics is over 100 years old. What are we waiting to leverage the knowledge that we have about how things work? There was a time when we didn't know electricity. We had to light up candles in the dark. Well, we harness electricity. What are we waiting for to harness what we know about how things work? Everything is energy. And all the stuff that we have in us, the stories that we keep reinforcing in ourselves, the way that we perceive ourselves, this is what's blocking. This is the kink in the hose. So our job is just like, let it circulate. Let the energy of life, really, this life working through us. We have an expiration date, but we are here to just here in the here and now. We have things to live if we allow it.
Absolutely. This has been great. I took a ton of notes. I love your visuals. I think it's so important as teachers, coaches, to have visuals for our clients, for our audiences to really grasp this different way of thinking. Sometimes it's perfect to really start to see what it could look like on the other side. Would love for you to, as we're closing up here, talk about who you are, what exactly you do, and who should be reaching out to you.
So who I am is I'm a value creator strategist and coach. And I help people create vision that transform and create unprecedented results. And specifically in my coaching practice, because I develop innovations, one that is dear to my mind is about reinventing the way we collaborate. And I have other beautiful ideas too about how to help rewire the brain. But in terms of the coaching modality, I really love to work with high-achieving, heart-centered women to help them own who they are in the world so that they can create a life worthy of them. I want for them what I created for myself. Now that I have a system, now that I have connected all the dots of what I know in my life, this is my distinctive natural influence. This is where I'm coming from. So I've kind of put everything I am, everything I know in the form of a group coaching program. And it's called Now is My Time to Come Alive. And I take them through different sort of 4 questions. Who am I here? Who am I now? What would I love? What am I here to be? And what's the vehicle of my transformation and contribution, which is who am I here to, what am I here to do? So we discover, your identity, your vocation, the business, and we launch you in the world. So I love to do that. Beautiful. But you know what? Dealing only with people who are ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
People who want to do something, that people who want to dwell on all the reasons why things don't work.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a believer that, I keep doing what works.
Yeah.
At this point in my life. And I know of a system that I'm happy to share. I invested heavily to be certified in that technology. And really at this point is like connecting all the dots of who I am and what I know, and
Beautiful.
offering it for you.
It's good. It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where can people find you? Those that are resonating with you, want to follow you. Where do you hang out on social websites?
So just my name. So you can find me on my website is you can see it on the screen, I guess, like it's my first name dash my last name.com, and you'll see everything I do. And to connect with me directly, if you're interested in having a conversation, take it further, see if there's a fit, a match for us to work together, it's my initial V at first name Veronique dash last name Gautier.com.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Sabrina.
Yes.
Pleasure hanging with you.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you taking some time into your day to sit down and relax and share some of your goodness with us. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
Closing thoughts, woman rising, and this is what brings us all together here. Oh, I had a pop-up on my screen. Women rising. Let's rise. Let's go. Let's go. And we're reinventing a new leadership, like women leadership. Let's do it our way.
Yeah.
And our way is not just one way. It's everybody's way, learning to collaborate, learning to co-create together. Wow. Wow.
So good. So good. Well, this has been great. So appreciate you being here. That brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you for sharing with us. To our dedicated listeners who are still here, thank you so much for staying with us into the very end. Remember to follow, like, and share. And once again, I am Sabrina Victoria. I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to uplift each other every step of the way by sharing amazing people just like this to help us with our personal and our professional well-being. Until next time,